there is a tender truth we often run from. The truth that a heart wounded cannot carry the weight of another. We rush into arms, into promises, into embraces, hoping that love will heal the cracks we refuse to face. But broken pieces do not fit into another's wholeness. They cut, they bruise, they bleed. Before we can build a bridge to someone else, we must first cross the rivers inside ourselves. Before we can whisper devotion to another soul, we must learn to speak gently to our own. The scars we carry are not shameful. They are lessons written on the skin of the spirit. But if we leave them raw and unattended, they become heavy stones in the pockets of love. Healing the heart is not about forgetting the past. It is about embracing it, holding it close, thanking it for the lessons, and then setting it down so we can walk lighter. It is about forgiveness, the kind that releases not only those who hurt us but also ourselves for staying too long, for giving too much, for forgetting who we were. When we heal, we no longer cling. We no longer beg for love to fill the emptiness. We no longer demand another person prove our worth. Instead, we walk with dignity, and we offer love not as a plea but as a gift. A healed heart does not build relationships from fear. It builds them from freedom. It builds them from strength. It builds them from truth. And only then can love grow, steady, patient, and unshaken by storms. There is a quiet truth that rests in the marrow of our bones, one that many spend lifetimes avoiding. The truth is that a heart that has not healed cannot hold the fullness of another. We think if we love hard enough, if we run fast enough into someone's embrace, if we pour out all that is left inside of us, the pain will dissolve. But love cannot grow from a place that is still bleeding. It cannot bloom from soil that has not been tended. To love without healing is to hand someone else the broken shards of your spirit and ask them to make them whole. And in time those shards cut, they wound, they leave scars not only on you but on the one you claim to love. There is no shame in admitting we are hurt. There is no weakness in saying the past left its fingerprints across our hearts. What weakens us is denial. What weakens us is rushing to build what should never be built on fractured foundations. For a relationship is not a refuge from pain. A relationship is a home for growth, for peace, for partnership. And no home can stand strong if the walls inside of us are already crumbling. We must first learn to hold ourselves before asking another to hold us. We must first learn the language of forgiveness before demanding that another speaks it fluently. We must turn inward, not outward, to begin the work of repair. Healing does not come in grand gestures. It does not arrive with fireworks or loud declarations. It comes quietly. It comes in the moments we sit with our silence instead of drowning it out. It comes in the mornings we rise and choose not to let yesterday dictate today. It comes when we look at our reflection and, for the first time, speak kindly to the person staring back. Healing the heart requires patience. Patience with the process. Patience with ourselves. Patience with the time it takes to untangle old wounds. Many people run because waiting feels unbearable. They search for comfort in another's arms, believing that if someone else whispers, "You are worthy," then perhaps it must be true. But worthiness cannot be borrowed. It cannot be rented from another soul. It must be found, nurtured, and guarded within. For if we do not know our worth, no one else's words can convince us. They may soothe us for a moment, but the emptiness returns, deeper than before. When we do the work of healing, we learn that love is not desperation. It is not clinging, it is not begging, it is not demanding that someone else fill the void. Love is abundance. Love is freedom. Love is the willingness to give because your own cup is full, not because you are starving for a drop of affection. And when we arrive at that place, love ceases to be a battlefield and becomes a sanctuary. Too many build relationships as a shelter from storms instead of a place to celebrate the calm. Too many build from fear, from loneliness, from the aching desire not to be alone. But when loneliness drives us, we will cling to anyone, no matter how ill-suited, no matter how unkind, simply because the silence frightens us. And in doing so, we betray ourselves. We trade our healing for temporary comfort. We trade our wholeness for companionship that cannot last. To heal the heart is to face the silence and see it not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Silence shows us the corners of ourselves we've ignored. It reveals the truths we've hidden beneath the noise of constant company. In stillness, we hear the voice of our spirit calling us back home. That voice says, "Tend to me. Listen to me. Heal me before you give me away." There is power in solitude when it is chosen. There is strength in sitting with your pain, not to wallow in it but to understand it. to ask it what it came to teach you. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every disappointment carries within it a lesson. Some lessons are gentle, others cut deep, but all are meant to shape us, not shatter us. If we do not learn, if we refuse to grow, we repeat the same wounds with different faces. We walk into new arms carrying the same old pain, and we wonder why love keeps breaking. Healing requires forgiveness. Not always reconciliation, not always returning to the ones who hurt us, but forgiveness as a release. To forgive is not to say, "What you did was right." To forgive is to say, "I will not carry this burden anymore." When we do not forgive, we drag the past into every present moment. We poison our own joy by letting resentment take root. But when we release it, when we set it down, we find our hands are free to hold something better, something truer, something that was waiting all along. And then there is the hardest forgiveness of all, the forgiveness of ourselves. For we carry guilt heavier than we carry anger. We punish ourselves for staying too long, for loving too deeply, for missing the signs, for believing the lies. But healing will not come while you hold yourself hostage. You cannot love yourself into wholeness if you are still judging yourself for breaking. To heal is to speak to yourself the way you longed for others to speak to you. To say, "You did your best with what you knew. Now you know better. Now you will choose better." As healing deepens, something extraordinary happens. The need to rush fades away. The hunger for someone else to validate us softens. We no longer search for love as a lifeline. Instead, we carry love as a light. And those who are drawn to us are drawn to the brightness, not the brokenness. We attract partners who see our wholeness, not our wounds, because we have shown ourselves that we deserve nothing less. Love built on healing is steady. It does not waver with every argument. It does not collapse under the weight of old insecurities. It stands because it was built on ground that has been cleared, tilled, and nurtured. It does not need constant proof because it already carries truth. It does not need to chase because it already knows how to rest. Healing the heart before building relationships is not selfish. It is sacred. It is an act of love not only for yourself but for the one who will one day hold your heart. It is saying, "I will not hand you something broken and ask you to fix it. I will hand you something whole and invite you to grow with it." And when two whole hearts meet, they do not complete each other, they complement each other. They do not fill gaps, they build bridges. They do not drain, they overflow. This is why the work must be done first. This is why solitude matters. This is why patience must be honored. For what good is it to rush into the arms of another only to discover you are carrying the same pain you tried to escape? What good is it to chase love if the love you need most is still waiting within you? The healed heart is not perfect. It still remembers. It still carries scars. But those scars no longer bleed. They no longer ache when touched. They are reminders of survival, of resilience, of strength. And they are proof that you are capable of loving without losing yourself, of giving without disappearing, of building without breaking. So take the time, sit with the silence, embrace the lessons, forgive the past, forgive yourself, learn your worth so deeply that no one can shake it. Fill your cup so fully that when love arrives, it is not a rescue but a celebration. Only then can you build a relationship that does not falter at the first storm. Only then can love be what it was always meant to be: freedom, peace, truth, and joy. Healing is not a destination, it is a journey that winds through valleys of memory and mountains of strength. There is no clear finish line, no single day where you wake and declare yourself fully whole. Instead, there are moments, quiet, almost hidden, where you notice you are not aching in the same way. Moments where the song of the past no longer echoes as loudly in your chest. Moments where you feel peace in places that once trembled with longing. These are the signs of healing, subtle yet sacred, gentle yet powerful. Many fear this journey because it asks for patience in a world addicted to speed. It asks for stillness in a culture that glorifies distraction. It asks us to sit with feelings that sting and memories that burn. But there is no other way. You cannot outrun the shadows inside you. You must face them, touch them, understand them, and only then will they dissolve. Healing asks you to unclench your fists, to release what you have been gripping for too long, and to trust that your spirit knows how to mend itself if only you allow it the space. There is beauty in brokenness, but only when it has been tended to. A cracked vessel can be sealed with gold, and its scars become the most beautiful part of it. But left unattended, the cracks widen, the vessel leaks, and nothing it holds remains. The same is true of the heart. If you do not mend what was fractured, your love will leak out through the cracks. You will give and give until there is nothing left, and, even then, you will wonder why emptiness remains. To heal the heart, you must first learn to see yourself clearly. Strip away the illusions, the masks, the roles you play for others. Who are you beneath the expectations? Who are you when no one is watching? Healing begins when you dare to meet that person with compassion instead of criticism. It begins when you say, "I see you. I forgive you. I will not abandon you." Too often, we abandon ourselves in search of acceptance from others. We leave our own souls behind while running toward the arms of someone who cannot carry us. Healing is the act of turning back, of reaching for the hand of your own spirit, and promising never to leave it again. The heart longs for connection, yes, but true connection can only be born of truth. If you carry unhealed wounds into love, you may present yourself as whole, but your spirit knows the difference. You may smile while inside you ache. You may pretend while inside you bleed, and eventually, the truth emerges. No mask can last forever. The unhealed heart cannot hide behind charm or beauty or performance forever. It will cry out, it will demand attention. It will sabotage the very love you sought, simply because it needed your care before it could ever care for another. Healing also means learning boundaries, not as walls to keep others away, but as doors that you choose to open with wisdom. A heart that has healed does not say yes out of fear, does not bend out of desperation, does not tolerate harm disguised as affection. A healed heart knows its worth so deeply that it will wait for love that honors it. It does not need constant proof. It does not settle for crumbs when it deserves a feast. It knows that waiting in peace is far better than rushing into pain. There is a sacred strength in saying, "Not yet. I am not ready to give my heart until I have given it back to myself." This is not loneliness, it is preparation. It is tending to the soil before planting seeds. It is building a foundation before raising walls. It is sharpening tools before beginning the work. When you heal, you prepare your soul to love with clarity instead of confusion, with fullness instead of emptiness, with strength instead of weakness. Do not fear the time it takes. Do not envy the ones who seem to rush from one love to the next. For often, they are running not toward love but away from themselves. True love, the kind that lasts, the kind that uplifts, does not sprout overnight. It grows slowly, like a tree rooted deep, and the deeper the roots, the stronger the branches, the more abundant the fruit. Healing your heart is the act of digging those roots deep, of ensuring that when love comes, it will not be swept away by the first storm. There will be days when healing feels heavy, days when old memories rise uninvited, days when forgiveness feels impossible, days when loneliness whispers lies. On those days, remember that healing is not linear. You will stumble, you will fall, you will revisit the same lessons until they are fully learned. This is not failure. This is growth. Flowers do not bloom all at once. The sun does not rise without darkness before it. And your heart will not heal in a straight line. It will spiral, it will twist, it will circle back until every wound has been given the care it deserves. In this process, gentleness is your greatest companion. Speak softly to yourself even when you fall. Encourage yourself, even when progress is slow. Celebrate small victories. The day you wake without dread, the moment you smile without forcing it, the time you catch yourself dreaming again. These are the quiet miracles of healing. They may not be grand, but they are holy. When you honor your own heart in this way, you change not only how you love yourself but how you love others. You will no longer enter relationships to escape loneliness but to share joy. You will no longer give from a place of emptiness but from a place of abundance. You will no longer fear losing someone because you know you will never again lose yourself. This is the power of healing. It transforms not only your present but your future. It rewrites the story of love in your life. And when love does arrive, as it surely will, you will greet it not with desperation but with dignity. You will welcome it, not cling to it. You will nurture it, not depend on it to complete you. You will know the difference between passion that consumes and love that sustains. You will know the difference between someone who wants to own you and someone who wants to walk beside you. And you will choose wisely, for a healed heart does not settle for less than truth. Every scar you carry becomes part of your wisdom. Every tear you shed becomes part of your strength. Every moment of silence, every prayer, every act of forgiveness builds the foundation of the love you are destined to experience. And when you finally share your heart, It will not be a wounded heart seeking refuge, but a whole heart offering sanctuary. That is the beauty of healing. That is the gift you give to yourself, and to the one who will one day hold your hand, not as a savior but as a partner. So take your time with your own heart. Do not rush its healing. Do not silence its cries. Do not hand it away before it is ready. For love that begins with wholeness becomes love that cannot be broken. When you honor your own spirit first, every bond you build will rise on truth, not fear, on freedom, not desperation. And remember this: the greatest gift you can ever give another soul is a heart that has already learned to love itself.